Hey, what's up? It's Russ Ruffino. Today we're going to be talking about if I had to start over from scratch and do $3 million, $4 million, $5 million in 12 months, like a gun to my head, what would I do? So like every video on this channel, it's about one thing. It's pulling back the curtain and showing you what we've learned from over 9 figures in high ticket coaching sales. So if you are a coach, consultant, expert, author, speaker, doctor, acupuncturist, whatever, and you use your knowledge and expertise to create big breakthroughs for your clients, and you wanna maximize your income, your freedom, and your impact, then click that like button, click that subscribe button, because you are absolutely in the right place. Now, quick disclaimer, I'm not saying you're gonna watch this video and make 9 figures or whatever. Your odds of doing that are like 1 in a million. But I believe that if you want to learn how to do something, you need to learn from the very best. And the truth is, there's only a handful of guys out there, me, a couple other guys, we all know each other, we're all friends, who can say that they've done 9 figures in high ticket coaching revenue. So if you want to learn from the best, you are in the right place. Let's dive into this video. All right, I got to make $3 million, $4 million, $5 million in 12 months. What do I do? The first thing I do, I'm going to give it to you step by step. The first thing I do is I put together a high ticket coaching offer. Now, this is a coaching program that is delivered online that you price between $5,000 and let's say $15,000 on the front end. So that means that you don't warm them up with like a $27 ebook or $97 video course or any of that nonsense. You go straight for the high ticket sale. Now, you might be following people that are telling you, Russ, the high ticket thing is dead. It's played out. You got to sell people something for $7 and then $27 and then $97, and then you can sell them the high ticket thing, blah, 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 blah. I can tell you right now, that is absolutely not true. I am friends with everybody in the space who is doing 8 figures, 9 figures, and doing incredible profit margins. Everybody who fits that bill is doing high ticket. Everybody. You might have some guys here and there that maybe they wrote a best-selling book, so people buy their book and then buy their high ticket thing. That's fine. But the basic funnel is to go right for the high ticket sale. Now, let's talk about why you should do this. First of all, obviously, it's easier to make your money in $5,000 chunks and $10,000 chunks than it is in $27 chunks, right? That's super obvious. But the other reason is that when you are attracting people who are going to pay those kinds of high ticket prices, they are the coolest people in the world. When I first started out, and I started out doing low ticket, so I know the difference, right? When I first started out, I was terrified to sell high ticket because I thought that if someone was investing $5,000 or $10,000 to work with me, that those people would be high maintenance, they would be fussy, they would, want to call me up at 2 in the morning and ask their questions. And when I did switch to high ticket, I was very surprised to find that they are the coolest people in the world. It's the low ticket people who spent $27 to work with you, who are in this state of like desperation. They're the ones that want to bother you and bug you all the time because they're in such a like desperate victim mentality. They can't seem to get out of it. Those people are the hard people to work with. But the people that are there investing $5,000 or $10,000 to work with you, they basically have their life together, right? Their life is not going to be in a shambles. Now, maybe they've got some big problem that they need you to solve. Their marriage is falling apart. They need to get in better shape. They need to get their business off the ground, whatever it is. But if they can invest $5,000 and $10,000 to work with you, chances are they basically have their lives together. And those are the people that you want to work with. They're not going to come to you desperate, but they are going to come to you committed. They're going to show up. They're going to do the work. They're going to do everything that you say, and they're going to make you look like a superstar, but they're also going to help you make that impact that you were born to make. And that was really my problem with low ticket. Is back in the day, I was selling a lot of low ticket stuff. I would have, thousands of people buy my stuff, but they wouldn't do anything. They would buy the ebook or the video course, whatever it was. They would read it. Maybe they'd even leave a review and say, dude, Russ, this was awesome. But then I'd turn around and say, hey, okay, wait, what did you do with that information? And then they would say, oh, nothing. I got 2 more books I got to read. I got 2 more courses I got to get through, and then I'll get around to your stuff. And I just realized that they weren't taking action. Well, the cure for that, the solution for that is high ticket pricing. So if you're dealing with a situation where, people sign up to work with you and then they don't do anything, raise your prices. Raise your prices 100%. All right. So a high ticket coaching program is something that you sell for $5,000 to $10,000. That's the fastest way to get to where you want to be. So if what we're talking about in this imaginary hypothetical scenario, getting to like $3 million a year, we got to do about $300,000 a month to get there, right? $300,000 a month times 12 months is going to be $3.6 million, right? Now, If you've got a $10,000 coaching program, you only need 30 people. That's one person per day. Now, obviously, that's easier said than done. But think about if you had like a $100 course for sale and you needed to do $300,000 in that, you got to sell 3,000 people into that program. That's bananas. But if you've got a $10,000 program, now you only need 30 people. Does that make sense? And so it's much more manageable. And in a lot of ways, it's a lot easier to do. Now, let me address this question of whether it's easier to sell low ticket or high ticket, because you hear this all the time. A lot of people think, well, Russ, it's way easier to sell a $27 ebook than it is to sell a $10,000 coaching program. But that's not really the question, is it? It's not about whether it's easier to sell one or the other. What it's really about is which one of those is easier to sell at a profit. That's the key. So if you're selling something for $27, ad costs on Facebook and Instagram are so expensive that maybe, if you're lucky, you're gonna break even, where you're spending $27 in advertising to sell that $27 book, right? But when you've got a $10,000 coaching program, you can acquire those $10,000 customers for like $1,000 in ad spend and maybe less sometimes. So with a $27 thing, you're spending $1 on Facebook and you're making $1 back. So you're breaking even. And that's if you do really well, you're breaking even. And then you're gonna try to sell them some high ticket thing anyway. With a properly constructed high ticket offer, you could spend $1 on Facebook and make $10 back. Or maybe $1 on Facebook and make $5 back. But you could be massively profitable because the price point is so high. And then because you only need to work with like 30 people a month, you can give those people a real VIP experience and a real transformational program, which you just can't do when you're working with thousands and thousands of people every month. Understand? So if you're like me, you've been in the business for a while probably, and you see these big launches, whether it's this $2,000 program or that $2,000 program, and you got these experts and gurus that do these big launches a couple times a year, and they'll enroll thousands of people into their $2,000 program all at once. And then what happens? None of those people get results. Why? Because you cannot provide good support to thousands of people all at once. So you have this situation where everybody loses. People sign up for your program, they're super excited, they drop $2,000 to be a part of it, but they're in there with thousands and thousands of other people. And so they don't get the support, and so they don't get the result, and so they leave disappointed. But if you've got a $10,000 program and you're enrolling 30 people a month, you can give every one of those people an incredible level of attention. I'm not saying a lot of time. Doesn't take a lot of time, but a lot of attention and handholding so that they can get where they want to go. Does that make sense? So that's why you should be doing high ticket. And that's definitely where I would start if I had to start over from scratch. So let me just really quickly, basically walk you through what a high ticket offer actually looks like. In a nutshell, it's about getting people from point A, where they have this terrible problem, to point B, where they don't. So let's say that you are going to help people become a better parent. Like, let's say you have a parenting offer like my client Jamie does, where she works with girls who are having problems, who are teenagers, and she works with the girls and their parents to help them fix that and heal that relationship and get their daughter back on the right track, okay? So you have point A where they have this terrible problem, so I'll draw a little frowny face here, and then you got point B where that problem is basically solved, all right? What does this look like in terms of your coaching program? Well, what you want to do is you want to think about this journey from point A to point B, and you want to break it up into milestones, right? So probably about 8 milestones. So maybe if it's a parenting offer, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to establish the communication. And then maybe the next thing you're going to do is, let me move this. Maybe the next thing you're going to do is you're going to help them set some healthy boundaries. And then maybe the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get them setting goals together. I don't know how to do a parenting offer. I don't know. I'm not the parenting expert, right? I'm the marketing guy. But my point is that you look at this journey from point A to point B, and then you divide it up into like 8 milestones. And each one of those milestones becomes 1 week of your high ticket coaching program. So you would have like an 8-week program. Each week they get 1 lesson that gets them to that milestone. 7 days later, they get the next lesson. 7 days later, they get the next lesson. And this goes on for 8 weeks. Does that make sense? Now, at the same time, we also have to give these people some support. So what you would also do is you would probably do Q&A once or twice a week. And for Q&A, that would be a group Q&A call where you get everybody together on Zoom, all 20 of your clients, all 30 of your clients. You get them together on Zoom and they can ask whatever they want and they can learn from each other. They can discover from each other. And it creates this incredible group energy, this incredible group dynamic where people actually get better results than they do from one-on-one coaching. So how do I know? Because we've had over, I think, 6,000 coaches go through our programs and make that switch from one-on-one coaching to group coaching. And I can't think of a single one that ever switched back. So you get the best of both worlds. You get to serve your clients in a group. They're investing a premium price with you, again, so you hit those income goals, but then you're also making an incredible impact on their lives, right? That's what I would do. So you take your wisdom, your knowledge, your expertise, and you turn it into that kind of 8-week coaching program. Now, by the way, if you need help doing that, click the link in the description of this video because that is the first thing we do with our clients. We get clear on what is that outcome you provide, like what's point A, what's point B, what are the milestones to get you there, what should you price it at, who's your target audience, who's your target customer. We help you figure all those things out, and then we get into, now, once you've got this high ticket program, how do you actually sell it? And that's what I'm gonna talk about next. The best funnel to use to sell a high ticket coaching program, period, end of story, is a book a call funnel. Now, people don't know this, but at Clients on Demand, we pretty much invented this about 12 years ago. And now it's become ubiquitous. Like everyone in the industry is doing it. And the reason they're doing it is because it works. So let me quickly walk you through what this looks like. You're going to start over here with a video ad. And we'll talk a little more about what those look like. And you're going to run those video ads on social media. And people are going to click that video ad. And then they're going to go to another video that's about 20 to 30 minutes long. And then under that video is a link to your application form or your calendar where people can book a call to speak with you. So we call this video a masterclass. So I'm just going to go ahead and label this masterclass. We'll talk a little more about that as well. Now, once they book an appointment to speak to you, they watch this video, they book an appointment to speak to you, then you're going to take them to a confirmation page or what we call a thank you page. On that thank you page is going to be a video from you saying, hey, you made a fantastic decision. I'm so excited to be talking to you. And then underneath that video are going to be several other smaller videos that answer your client's biggest objections. So anything that would stop them from actually making the decision to solve this problem, you can address right there. So for example, let's say it was a parenting offer, just continuing with that, one of their objections might be, well, what if my daughter doesn't want to participate in this? What if we're already investing in something else? What if me and my kid are barely on speaking terms, right? Any of those things that might come up for them that would stop them from investing with you, you can actually answer and preempt those objections before you even get on the call with them. Does that make sense? So the process again looks like this. They're going to click on your video ad. They're going to watch this 20 to 30 minute masterclass. They're going to go to this thank you page, and then they're going to talk to you. They're going to do a call with you. Now, on that call, if you're doing it right, all you need to do is get your target audience clear on the problem that they're wrestling with and what it's going to cost them if they don't fix it. So I'm not talking about twisting their arm. I'm not talking about doing any slick ass Wolf of Wall Street nonsense. I'm talking about getting real with them and just asking some very direct, very open-ended questions. Tell me what's not working about your relationship with your daughter. What is she doing? Who is she hanging out with? Do you know where she goes after school? Do you know the people that she's spending time with? How long has this been going on? How often are you guys fighting? Are you guys on speaking terms? Are you not on speaking terms? Are you worried that she might be engaged in some kind of substance abuse? Whatever it is. But you're just going to ask these questions. And as you ask these questions, your target client is going to begin to realize, you know what? Hey, maybe this problem is a little bigger than I thought that it was. And if you are getting people really clear on their problems and what those problems are costing them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to internally start to make the decision to actually do something about it. So this is be a whole other video on exactly how to do sales the right way, the ethical way, the integrity way. But in a nutshell, the most important thing is just to get them clear about this problem that they're facing and what it's costing them not to fix it. Once they're mentally in tune with that, once they're connected with that emotionally in their heart, then they're going to decide to do something about it. And then the next most logical thing to do is to go ahead and hire you and join your coaching program. Does that make sense? All right, let's talk about the individual components of this funnel that I would build. So as you can see here, it's a really simple funnel. I mean, there's only a couple steps to it, and that's why it works. You know, I don't have time to go and build this overly complicated funnel with upsells and downsells and cross sells and all this other stuff, or send people from a low ticket thing to a high ticket thing. You don't need to waste your time with any of that. You can use this incredibly simple funnel to bring your ideal clients to you on a consistent basis like clockwork. So again, let's dive in and take a look. Now, the video ad. The most effective video ads that we're running today at Clients on Demand are very heartfelt, story-driven ads. So you're gonna grab your iPhone, you're gonna sit in a chair, maybe like this one, you're gonna get cozy, you're gonna get on the couch, whatever, and you're gonna grab your phone and you're just gonna talk. And you're gonna tell people the story of how you got involved in this market in the first place. So let's say that you're an acupuncturist and you help people with severe back pain. We might tell the story of one of your parents that had severe back pain, or if you had severe back pain and you tried everything and nothing worked, and then you found your way to traditional Chinese medicine, and that's the thing that finally worked for you. And you're gonna say, you know, I realized there were thousands or millions of other people that have this exact same problem as I do, and that's why I created this program to help them fix it. Then you give a little bit of information about the program, and you tell them to click the link on the video if they wanna go and learn more. All right. So it's really simple. I'm not talking about making a bunch of promises or wild guarantees or stuff that you see people doing now. I'll fix your back pain by next Tuesday, or I'll buy you a Lamborghini. No, I'm talking about keeping it really simple, really heartfelt. And that gives people the chance to see who you are and to see what you stand for. But secretly, you're also doing the most important thing you can possibly do when it comes to authority building. And that is describing your audience's problem better than they can. Because when we hear someone describe our problems better than we can, we automatically assume that they know the answer. And it's so important that you understand this principle, because that's how at Clients on Demand, we're able to take people who are total unknowns. They don't have a social media following. They don't have millions of people following them. They don't have a New York Times bestseller. They don't have a hit podcast. They don't have name recognition. They don't have any of these things. And we're able to help them in a very short amount of time build some incredibly successful coaching businesses. The way they establish trust and authority is by describing their audience's problem better than they can. If you only hear one thing in this video, hear that. That is the key to establishing your authority. And so by telling this story in a very heartfelt way, you are demonstrating that you deeply, deeply understand the problem that your audience is wrestling with. And so therefore, they are going to assume that you know the answer. Make sense? Now, once they click that ad, then they go to the next piece, which is this masterclass video. Now, as I said, this video is about 20 to 30 minutes long, and this is the most important thing when it comes to client attraction. So what are you gonna do in this video? You're gonna do exactly what I just said. You're gonna hook them in by talking about a big, beautiful outcome that they're trying to get. You're gonna describe their problem better than they can. And then you're gonna do another little cool piece of jujitsu, which is you are then going to, once you describe their problems, you are going to reframe those problems as just being symptoms of a bigger problem that they're not even thinking about. So let me give you an example of what that looks like that you might be familiar with. Back in 2006, that was like 20 years ago now, but you probably heard of this, right? Way back in 2006, ancient history, there was a DVD that came out called The Secret. And this DVD swept the country by storm, and it really got everybody turned on to law of attraction, right? This idea that you can manifest and create your thoughts. We'll talk more about that stuff on this channel too. But basically what they did was they said, hey, look, are you having money problems? Are you having relationship problems? Are you having health problems? Well, you know what? None of those things are the real problem. The real problem is that you're not using the law of attraction. And until you start, anything you do to fix those other problems is just going to be a Band-Aid. But when you take advantage of the law of attraction, you can fix your money problems, your relationship problems, and your health problems all in one fell swoop. So you see what they did? They listed out the problems that you have. But then they reframe those problems as just being symptoms of a bigger problem nobody was even thinking about, this law of attraction thing. And when your audience accepts that premise, it allows you to create your own economy because everybody else's solution is just a Band-Aid, right? Like think about it. Let's say I'm having relationship problems. I'm thinking about buying some relationship books or going to couples counseling or whatever. And I watch this DVD, The Secret. Well, now they just told me that my relationship problems aren't the real problem. The real problem is I'm not using the law of attraction. So now it doesn't make sense for me to buy someone's book. It doesn't make sense for me to go to marriage counseling. It makes sense for me to learn the law of attraction if I accept that premise. Does that make sense? So on your masterclasses, you are going to take these problems and struggles that your audience has. You're going to describe them very clearly so that they automatically assume you know the answer. But then you're going to show them that those are not the real problem. The real problem is this other thing that they're not even thinking about. And then we go to work explaining why your program solves that real problem that nobody else is talking about. And that once people solve that real problem, the rest of the stuff takes care of itself. So this is an art, but when you do this right, this is how you can take people from clicking on an ad to watching this 20-minute video to booking a call with you and then enrolling in your high-ticket programs within 24 to 48 hours. That's why this method is so powerful and so fast. And if I had a gun to my head, I had to do 3, 4, 5 million in 12 months, this is where I would start. Because every single time I would get a yes on one of those calls, I'm doing 10K in revenue. And I don't have to get that many yeses to hit my income goals. Does that make sense? All right, so they watch this masterclass video and then they go to this thank you page. And again, on that thank you page is going to be a video telling them how to get on the call with you, how to show up for the call, be in a place where there's no distractions, et cetera, et cetera. But you're going to go to work preempting some of their objections in these little videos here. And those videos are going to answer their objections before they get on the call with you. So by the time they get on the call, 24 to 48 hours later, they are pre-sold, they are ready to go, they are ready to rock, they are ready to work with you. Does that make sense? So that's where I would start. I would start with the high ticket offer, and then I would use this very simple book a call funnel. I would get on the phone with these people, and if they're a fit, I would enroll them into the high ticket program. And so then it just becomes a question of how many people you talk to. So let's say you're enrolling 50% of the people you talk to. For every 10 conversations you have, you're picking up 5 new clients. For every 20 conversations you have, you're picking up 10 new clients. And so that's how I would hit those income goals in the fastest possible way. Does that make sense? Now, what if you don't have any money to spend on advertising, right? So I know I said I was starting from scratch, right? That strategy assumes that I got a little bit of money or credit cards or something to spend on advertising. But let's just say I didn't. Let's say I was really doing this on a shoestring. Like when I first started out, coming from bartending and not having a lot of startup capital. I'm not going to get into my whole story right now, but coming from there, like let's say we had almost no budget and we had to kind of start from scratch. Well, what's cool is that instead of doing these video ads here, this works just as well, a little slower, but it works just as well from organic posts. So let's say that you are, instead of making this video ad, you just go and start making the same type of content, telling those heartfelt stories, recording those videos, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, talking about why you're in this market, talking about their problems, talking about their pain points, and you start posting that content to Instagram. Get into a regular rhythm, get into a regular cadence where you're posting some kind of video like that. Good, meaty content, 3 to 5 minutes long. You're doing that pretty much every day. And that's not hard. You're taking 3 minutes out of your day, you record a quick video, you pop it on Instagram. You pay attention and you watch which one of those videos performs best. And when it does, then you take your tiny little microscopic ad budget and you boost those organic posts. And that's going to have pretty much the same effect as you just running these video ads. So again, you can begin to enroll high ticket clients without a huge investment in advertising if that's what you want to do. Make sense? All right. So now we still got a ways to go. So I would need to be talking to like probably 60, 70, 80, maybe 100 people a month if I really don't know how to close to pick up those 30 clients at 10K. So how can we pour gasoline on the fire? How can we make this accelerate even faster? Well, one of the ways that you can do that is to have a back-end program. So let's talk about what that looks like. When you run you've got your ascension model sort of looks like this. You have your 8-week workshop. And then from there, As people graduate from the 8 weeks, you're going to have some of those people that want to continue working with you. They love you. They love your stuff. They're excited about it. And they say, hey, Russ, where do we go from here? And I say, no problem. Then you enroll those people into a 12-month mastermind. Now, those masterminds are usually going to be priced at somewhere between $20,000 and $50,000. And so now we're massively accelerating things. So let's say that you're enrolling 10 clients a month into your 8-week workshop, right? Well, that's 10 clients times 10K, that's 100K. And then from there, let's say 3 of those people now join your mastermind. And let's just say they're coming in at like a 40K price point. Well, now we got to 100K on our front end and we got to 120K on our back end. That's $220,000 right there. And then from there, you can even have another higher level 12-month mastermind for maybe your more advanced people. And those usually go from 60K to 100K. Does that make sense? So what I really want you to understand is this is how you can start to do some of those big, big numbers like we're talking about with a relatively small amount of people. I mean, let's just say again, you're enrolling 10 people a month into your program at $10,000. That's $100,000 in revenue, and you only have 10 people to talk to. Right there, even if you just did that, that would be $100,000 a month for 12 months. That is $1.2 million in revenue. But now, if you had 3 of those people upgrade to your back end, that's another $120,000. Now you're at $220,000 in revenue times 12 months. You can see how it starts to add up. Now look, again, disclaimer, I'm not saying you're gonna do that. I'm illustrating why this is the approach that I would use because there is nothing that works faster, right? If I'm spending an hour or 40 minutes, let's say, on the phone with someone, I might as well sell them a $50,000 mastermind or $10,000 coaching program. You know, there's no sense in trying to get to these huge numbers with $27 ebooks or $97 video courses. You got to sell like thousands and thousands and thousands of those things if you want to do that. Does that make sense? And even then, to, like I said before, to really turn a profit, you're going to need to enroll them into some kind of high ticket thing anyway. So why waste time with all that other stuff? Why not just enroll them into the high ticket program that can really solve their problems? Does that make sense? So this is how you create what I call the big 3: income, freedom, and impact. Income, freedom, and impact. Now, I would argue that if you want to really be successful, you need all 3 of those things in your business. Your business has to be leveraged enough that you can hit your income goals. It has to give you the freedom that you want. So how does this high ticket model give you freedom? Well, all you're doing in your high ticket workshop is you're giving people 1 module a week, like we talked about, and then you're getting on a Q&A call probably once a week for about 2 hours. So your time investment is minimal. And because this entire program is delivered online, you could serve these clients from anywhere in the world with just a laptop and an internet connection. And that gives you the ability to work from home like I'm doing right now, or to travel the world because you're giving yourself that kind of freedom. But it also allows you to make that impact that you were born to make, because programs that are set up in this way are designed to create a real transformational outcome for your clients. Income, freedom, and impact all at the same time. That's the name of the game. So if I had to start over, that is what I would do. I would build a high ticket offer. I'd build a very simple book a call funnel. And then I would have back-end programs that ascend people to increase that lifetime value. And then all you have to do to scale your business is you just got to increase the volume. So you send more people into your video ads, you spend more money on ads, you do more organic posts, you boost those posts, and you get more and more people going through this process. And eventually, you won't do the calls yourself. You will delegate that to a sales team that will do those calls for you. Now, in the beginning, I do suggest you do those calls yourself because you need to get to know who are the people that are showing up on the call, all right? Now, this is it. This is the model. This is the way. And this is exactly what we do with our clients in my company, Clients on Demand. We get you clear on what that high ticket offer is. We build out that book a call funnel with you. We make sure that you're handling those sales calls in the right way. And we make sure that you're giving your clients an incredible experience. And this is how you have a business model that you can scale that's actually gonna provide you with that income, freedom, and impact that all of us are really after. So if you want to talk about working together, we'd love to talk to you. Click the link in the description of this video, book a call to talk to us. I'm Russ Ruffino, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.